chance to get even. Obviously, I'm thrilled to be here tonight celebrating our 50th. My dad, Marvin, my uncle, Norman, were two of the first 100 members. My sister, my cousins, and I grew up at the club. In fact, my first memory of Purchase Hills Country Club was in 1964, watching the foundation being poured. Before I go down memory lane, let me acknowledge a few people. First, Alan Rich is back there. Give a hand to Alan, please. About 5 years ago, when I was still president, Alan said, "What are we doing for the 50th?" I said, "The 50th? It's only the 45th." But he had the vision. He said, "I'll stick around, I'll run the committee," and he did. And because of his determination, notwithstanding cancer, 2 hip replacements, cataracts, a new kidney, he stayed around for tonight. So Alan, thank you very much. Alan, you can let go now. Is that over? I didn't think so. All right.
Not yet.
All right, so I'd like to acknowledge some of our long-term members tonight. If you've been here, I can walk, I didn't realize. It's not like in court where I have to stay behind the lectern, I can walk around. If you've been here for 20 years or longer, stand up, please. Let everybody acknowledge you. 20 years is a long time. Pretty good. All right. If you've been here for 30 years or longer, remain standing. Wow. If you've been here for 40 years or longer, remain standing. All right, this is going to get through you. If you've been here for 50 years, please remain standing. Bob, you can get up now, I know that. And if you're an original founding member, one of the 7 people who went to Lowell Shulman's ladies' dress shop in 1962 and met with Lowell to start this club, please stand up. Bob Seidelman. Now, what many of you don't know about Bob is that in addition to being one of the 7 guys from Harrison Country Club who wasn't happy being a member of a club that was owned by an individual, Bob was our first Greens chairman. So anytime you're upset about a line or anything about the golf course, he's the guy you gotta be upset with, okay? Bob, you did a great job and we're honored that you're here tonight. Thank you, buddy. All right, the next person I want to mention is not a member, but he's just as important to tonight as anybody else, and that's Vinny Kometz. Does anybody know who Vinny is? All right, so Vinny is one of our long-term caddies. He's been here for 30 plus years, and about 4 years ago, he said to Ken Auerbach, the videographer, he said, "Why don't someone should write the history of Braeburn?" So what many of you don't know about Vinny, besides being a fabulous caddy, is Vinny is also getting a master's in English, and he teaches English writing at a community college up in Connecticut. So Ken and I had this idea, let's hire him. And if you haven't seen the book that he put together, if you haven't seen all the photographs that he put together, he went down to Town Hall, he interviewed Lowell Shulman, he interviewed Lula Peters, he went through the attics of many of you to look at your old photographs. The books are available out there, and I hope you'll congratulate Vinny for the work he did. He spent hundreds of hours, and you'll just have to sign up if you want a book, but it's fabulous. Oh, wait, also, Kenny, thank you. This wouldn't have happened, but I know, but thank you. All right, so in 1962, the local Westchester dress shop salesman from White Plains, Lowell Shulman, I don't know how many of you know Lowell, my father Mushbook, or whatever it's called. He had this crazy idea to build a golf course from scratch. He was 34 years old and a member at Old Oaks. It hadn't been done since the Depression. He and his other golfing buddy at Old Oaks bought 284 acres of old swampland. There was a railroad that went through Braeburn. The 5th tee, by the way, is an old railroad trestle. And he hired Frank Duane, a golf architect. They drew up a course, but they had no members. They had no clubhouse. They had nothing except this idea and a design. So what happened? Two lucky things happened for them. The state of New York decided to buy a little piece of the land and created 684. And then Frank Dickstein, Bert Cotton, and Bob Seidelman, and a few other guys said, hey, we'll put up $6,500 each. And they did it, and that enabled Lowell to pay off the bank, and the club was born. It's an amazing story. I mean, imagine today, our membership committees, those of you who have sat on membership committee, you know how hard it is to get 20 new members, let alone 175 new ones. So this happened, and Lowell sold 152 of the acres to us. The club was originally called Purchase Hills Golf Club, and it was later changed to Braeburn Country Club because more than anything else, we are a family golf and country club. How many of you have had your kids' bar mitzvahs here? How many of you have had your kids or you've been married here? It's an amazing thing. How many of you are second or third generation? So there are dozens of second and third generations here, but most important, there are a lot of characters. So let me speak affectionately about some of our characters. First of all, Lucille, where are you? Lucille Shear. I told you, first of all, I loved Lucille's husband. He was a doll. I mean, first of all, so good looking. But Dr. Shear was the greatest guy. But at age, what many of you new members don't know, he lived on the 4th tee box. And at age 80, he got up on a ladder and cut down half a tree just so he could see his house from the bar. You can't make this shit up. I'm very, very proud of the fact that our club is racially integrated. Billy Schultz and Mike Smith, where are you? It's truly nice. We have our share of lectures. Mel Adler, is there a girl here you haven't danced with? And Len Lauren, where are you? Is there a girl you haven't hit on? No? Okay. We have Alan Tarter. I know we've heard great things about Alan. He's played more rounds here than anyone, and he's a devoted guy. He's always thinking day and night about the arcane rules of golf. I mean, Judy, you must be one lucky lady. I mean, that's just great. But the truth is, Alan is a Braeburn treasure who has been so gracious sharing his knowledge with us, whether we ask him or not. We're also lucky to have Ken Haber. Now, I don't know if those of you know this, Ken sat on the board with me for 12 years. He has devoted hundreds of free legal hours here, helping us through all of our legal problems. So Kenny, thank you, and it's great to have the original Hair Club for Men members. It really is great. No, it's true. I mean, listen, how many of us can say that our last name is both a noun and a verb on the golf course? Is he going to talk to me again? Is he watching? I have to say, it wasn't always easy being president, but one thing was great was that most of the members of this club never complained. And even during the renovation, it was so gratifying to have so many of you who are experts in the field of architecture and interior design share your knowledge and suggestions with me. I really appreciate that. Len, you know that you were kind enough to make a few words about me, so I just wanted to share with you. It's not easy being president, Len. Come on, it isn't. But one thing I have to give you credit for, Len, through all the complaints, you never lose your patience. No, seriously, and the sweet emails you sent, always just showing respect. And I have to say, Marilyn, I don't know if you know this, Lynn's wife is a psychologist. Clearly, you have been properly medicated. Okay, I wanted to say something funny about the new members from Ridgeway and Elmwood, but the truth is, you're one of the best things that ever happened to this club. I'm not even going to say anything sad. I mean, it's true. We're so lucky to have you. You fit in so seamlessly. You're not the best golfers, but we're so thrilled to have you here. We really are. Now, no roast is complete unless the Toastmaster makes a little fun of himself. So I have to confess something that probably is going to come as a big surprise to most of you. Okay, I'm going to tell something that it sounds pretty loud to me. Pardon me? Okay, so I used to have a serious drug problem. It's true. And when I was in law school, on a Sunday night barbecue, I was so busy and distracted putting my grandmother in the car that I left my overnight bag right there in front of the clubhouse. Okay, you would think, what's the big deal? Except there was an ounce of pot in it. Well, the next morning I get a call from Jack Vallis. He was our general manager. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, give a big hand to Jack. Jack's here. Oh, that's right. That's right. No, I'm sorry. He wasn't invited. So Jack calls me up the next night, and this is a true story. Somehow the Harrison cops had found my bag. They returned it to Jack Vallis. Jack calls me up. I said, "That's shocking. Who would put pot in my bag?" Anyway, the sad news is I got my bag back, but the pot was gone. And I never found out if it was the police or Jack, but anyway, that's an interesting story about me. I'm deeply ashamed, and I promise never to do that again. All right, so the last thing, I'm not going to okay, so no club is successful without a hard-working board and the members who volunteer on the committees. And this is true back in 1963 when the committee members actually really did build this club. We're fortunate to have had so many of you work tirelessly to ensure that no details are overlooked. Unfortunately, despite thousands of hours of debate over 50 years, one issue continues to bedevil the board. And if there's anybody from any of the other clubs that can please help us, we've never figured out what to do about slow play. I swear, it's the only thing the board ever talks about, slow play. Anyway, I realize how lucky we are to be members of Rayburn, and at the end of the day, it's not the golf course, it's not the clubhouse, it's not our fabulous barbecues that make us so special. At the end of the day, it's the good friends we've made. It's the fact that we're a family-friendly club where our kids are encouraged to join. And as a former junior and intermediate member, I've never been prouder. I hope you'll lift your glass now and congratulate ourselves and to 50 more years of prosperity at Brae. Thank you very much.